Hey, so you know that guy with the S on his chest, right? Um, seems infallible, really goes through a lot, but overall wins the moral high ground because of how consistent he is. Yeah, yeah. What if we made him evil? Hey, what? Evil Superman is a fun idea. Um, Seeing it done a lot of times now, and when I talk about evil Superman, I don't want to just make it where it's him being brainwashed. That's not what I really consider the true evil Superman. And Justice Lord doesn't count either. Or not Justice Lord, but more of the Ultraman doesn't count. And I say that because that's more of an alternate universe where he was born different. Quintessential evil Superman for me is that he grew up the regular way, right? Kansas, two parents, you know, home, body of life, small town, Smallville. Something along the way happens that changes him considerably. So, Red Sun doesn't really count, right? Red Sun doesn't count. Him being brainwashed doesn't count. So, like the episode where he's brainwashed by Darkseid, that doesn't really count because he wasn't traditionally raised. I mean, he was, but he was brainwashed, right? I want to talk about evil Superman who made that choice, like the Justice Lord or Injustice, right? Where something happened and he made the choice to be evil. I do think it's getting overplayed now, and I also hate the way that it usually seems to be Lois that is the main cause of it. That Lois died, and somehow that's like his only connection to humanity, really. Injustice. There's someone dying, right? For like, in case of the Justice Lords, right? The Flash dying, or even within like the DCU, the idea of Superman turning evil because of Lois dying, right? I never liked that idea because I always felt like he has more of a connection to Earth and more of a connection to humanity because that's like his big thing, right? That he wants humanity to grow. That he wants to help lead the way to an extent, help you with the bicycle with the training wheels, and then eventually take out the training wheels and have humanity grow. Right? Superman, in that sense, to me, anyways, is the training wheels. He wants humanity to grow. He wants humanity to show that it can be better. So when Lois is killed, I'm just like, doesn't he have other friends? Not with just in the superhero community, but like within the Daily Planet, within like the city of Smallville, city of Metropolis, and then the town of Smallville. So that's always been a concern. I'm like, you still have your parents in most cases in this situation. So I never liked that. I always feel like an abandonment to who he is and what he's been doing, right? I think the best outcome, right, the most quote unquote realistic outcome for Superman and like her dying is Kingdom Come. Now, if you never read Kingdom Come, it's a 90s comic book. It's essentially, you can't quote me on this, I mean, you can try to, but essentially is like the first like superhero civil war type thing. But it's more about different generations and the ideals and the morale between that. But it's a great read. Superman becomes reclusive. He becomes off the grid because Lois died, killed by the Joker, and then go to court because the guy, this newer superhero, is like more edgy and hardcore, kills the Joker, and the court's like, people are like, yeah, we started with him, and he's like, Superman's like, y'all, he just committed murder. What's going on here? So essentially, he's like, okay, y'all don't want my help, bet I'm gonna leave. So he leaves, and then he's pretty much just secluded off the grid. And I like that. I think that Superman giving up temporarily or just needing to take a break seems more like a Superman and a Clark move to do. Instead of just like, I'm gonna turn evil. Right? I think another quote unquote realistic or more like understandable view is Superman Adventures, the DCAU, right? Is that he becomes more of a dictator because he wants the world to be safe. And this was a Superman who wasn't married to Lois, right? So the relationship wasn't as developed, but due to her dying, he essentially just wants to make the whole city safe, but he does it to such extreme measures. But Superman really isn't evil, right? It's not coming from such a evil place, and he's not really killing anyone, right? He hasn't crossed that line. He's just more aggressive in how he's quote unquote protecting people and saving them himself. He also teams with Luthor. And that's also another thing, is I would like it for like an evil Superman to not be influenced by other people. Granted, when someone dies, you're in grief. You know, you're vulnerable emotionally, vulnerable physically. So it's understandable. But there's Clark himself making the choices, right? So I think like the true evil Superman would be like the Justice Lord, because Batman and Lois, Batman and Wonder Woman don't really consciously, what's the word, influence. They don't influence him. He makes his own decision to kill Luthor and then to go dictatorship, right? So I think that's usually like the best option when it comes to that. Anyway, when it comes to that, I think that's the best option as like a quote unquote evil Superman. But I don't like the idea though. I think there's a better way to do it. I do like Kingdom Come's approach to it. I think that would be a lot more interesting to have him try to come back out of that hole after he feels like society kind of failed him. But I don't think he would ever really give up on humanity and society. Now, if DC was to happen to be like, hey yo, random YouTuber, how would you handle the death of Lois, right? Them being married. What do you think Superman would do? How do you think he would react? I would hit them, right? The 1-2 buckle my shoe, you know. I can imagine the comic or whatever medium opening up to the Forest of Solitude, right? Clark is in the Forest of Solitude in a lab. There's Mr. Terrific. There's the Atom. There's a couple of other scientists, and Batman's like, Clark, where is he? And Clark is like, where's who? I'm just kidding. He's a bit tied up right now. Batman's like, tied up? What are you doing? What are you doing with him? Clark he needed to be removed temporarily. What did you do, Clark? What did you? Did you? No, no, Bruce. I didn't cross the line. He's still alive. I just been thinking a lot. It's funny. Uh, Mr. Terrific and Adam had a bet on how long it would take for you to find out. And I didn't partake, but I clearly would have won. Clark, what's going on? A lot. He took something from me. Something I don't think I'll ever gain. Something I'll never gain. I'll never get back. And in that moment, I had a lot of dark thoughts. But something pulled me back. Bruce, we're so reactionary. We never really have agency over this world, do we? But what if that can change? Change how? What if I can change it? The most irredeemable person can be redeemed. Where are you getting at? I think I can fix the Joker. I think I can fix him. There's no fixing the Joker. What are you talking about? He needs to go to prison. He will. He will, but has he ever really been given a fair shot? A fair shot at what? Being human again. This, read the premise of the comic, is that a defeated Superman is trying to fix the Joker. If you take elements like from the White Knight, right, and make this more of a psychological battle. Superman has psychics, some of the world's smartest men. He's trying to fix the Joker, trying to fix the most irredeemable person on the earth. And if he can fix that person, maybe he can fix other people. The comic would also talk about prison reform and how the system is owned by private companies, how it doesn't really help people, and how many of the common thugs that people follow, like the Joker and the Riddler and Bane, even, are just tossed aside, have threats of their lives, have been even shown seeing other minions get killed by these guys, and then get broken bones by such guys like that, man. How they keep returning to these life of crime, and what they need to do to change it so they don't keep going back to that. How Bruce Wayne has the influential power to possibly give these guys jobs with well benefits and a decent pay for their families, for themselves to grow. This battle with not only the prison system, but a battle of second chances, right? Third, fourth, fifth, and keep giving these chances to people, even though we may have given up on them. Superman doesn't want to give up on them, right? And that maybe one day it'll click and they'll make that choice to reform and change. But the opportunity has to really be there for all of them, right? Being still treated as human to some degree, even though we may not see them as such, right? Such as these criminals. But that would be the overall theme about reform, redemption, second chances. I see it ending in this big mental battle, right? The pill is made and it's trying to take effect, but it seems like this other thing is blocking it almost. And then with the help of like John and other psychics, they try to go in to like battle this psyche, the Joker persona, right? And Superman finds himself, right? And it's almost like a Matrix thing where like if your brain is dead, you're dead. And then since they're in the mind of the Joker has power over this realm, so he's much more of a bigger threat than he would be to Superman. So this is like physical battle. There's a mental battle where he's just seeing everything. And I had two possible endings, right? Where like Superman ends up sitting down at a cafe. Bruce, they're both their I'd say human selves, I guess, but you know, they're not superhero selves. Clark and Bruce are just talking in a cafe, and it's about like 6 months later, and Bruce wants to know what happened, you know, because he was watching Clark, but he's just like trying to just trust him and let him go through this. And the timeline could be like 3 months. It doesn't have to be like 6 months to be, you know. And then you see Jack, right? Jack is a waiter. He's asking them what he wants for coffee. And like Bruce like realized what happened. And then like Superman explains how Jack is a guy who, you know, kind of like what happens in Harley with the Joker. I essentially just became like a great stepfather. I kind of want that for him. And then Clark would pull out a newspaper and it shows like Wayne's buying out other companies' prisons, and how he's just making it not so privatized, and how Second Chance Wayne or something like that. So pretty much like the plan to like change the prison reform, change the prisons and how they work is like coming to effect. How like the Joker, the most irredeemable person, is essentially like himself. You can even do like a comic or a scene where like he does almost the Joker laugh, but then like he coughs and he's like, oh gosh, like thank goodness I took my medication today. Almost like he's aware of like that side of him, but it's not like Green Goblin enough where it's like it's gonna affect him. He's just like, oh man, I need to take my medication and get some cough syrup or something like that. So that's how I would envision that it's battle for morality. It's a battle for second chances. And yeah. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me how you would envision Superman taking it to the lowest, how you would see this approach of Superman taking such a loss. Yeah. Alright. But yeah, like always, turn on all 37 notifications and subscribe to the channel. And like always, you are a human being and you are loved. And like always, until we meet again.